'Tis I, Preacher. And today, today is another day of many newses. Now, some of you might look at this and be like, hey, I would have expected this video yesterday or maybe the day before, because a lot of this news came out kind of interspersed, and none of them really sparked me to make a video. But really, it's not any of these one stories in particular, but it's the way that they all connect, and the way that the last one really accentuates the entire point that has led us here once again, my friends. So welcome back once more to the pews, and I say we get this thing started. So first thing that came out was the Alinea Analytics graph polling. It doesn't have Forza Horizon 5, but just in your head, fabricate Forza Horizon 5 with a much bigger bar that says 5 million on top. Too easy. But then when you look at the other Xbox produced first party games that were ported multi-platform to PlayStation, you see a distinct drop off in interest. Now, these are some big name games, you would think, right? Like Gears of War did not sell 1 million on PlayStation after not being on PlayStation, being a marquee franchise for Xbox since the 360 days, coming over to PlayStation. This should have easily sold 1 million, I think. It did not. The interest wasn't there. You know, a game that I would have thought I'd been interested in, and I didn't even buy it. You know what I mean? For me personally, the only reason I didn't get it was it's a, you know, and nothing against it, but it's an older game for $40, and it's like there's just a whole bunch to play. There's just a whole bunch to play the last couple of years. So, you know, my interest was with other things. I hope to get to it again. It went on sale for $20, you know, at some point, but my eye has to be drawn to it for some reason. And at the launch of it coming out, it was not, you know, and it wasn't for a lot of people apparently. Doom didn't do 1 million on PlayStation. That's Doom, and that's like a new Doom. Like, the other two were great, highly praised. Surely did 1 million. Like, that's very surprising. Indiana Jones not doing 1 million, you know what I mean? That means it didn't do 1 million anywhere. It's really, like, you know, it didn't do 1 million on Xbox. I don't think it did it on Steam. I don't think it was pushing that on Steam, you know, and it didn't cross that 5 million player mark. We heard Satya say 4. He would have said 5 if he could. That's a major Disney IP, you know? And I mean, you had these guys talking about Spider-Man. Can these niggas pay for the Spider-Man license? Yeah, you don't need to be worried about that at all. That's crazy. That's kind of crazy. Tony Hawk Pro Skater 3 and 4 was kind of a botch, so, you know, that's unsurprising. Ninja Gaiden 4 was kind of a fucking botch. How do you bring back Ninja Gaiden 4 and it's not fully focused on Ryu Hayabusa? Like, that should be, god damn that Xbox monkey's paw, because that should be something I'm so interested in. That should be something, an undeniable day one. I had people hitting me up like, yo, it's that day, Ninja Gaiden 4. And I don't even have the heart to hit them back because I still ain't even bought it, because no Ryu Hayabusa, bro. Like, come on, man. I can't get down with it. Ninja Gaiden 4 should have been a, like, revamped 2. Like, it should have been a remixed 2 to the best of your ability. You should have been copying and pasting. You tried to do some different shit, and I can't. So, is what it is. I heard the combat's good. Flight Sim. Sheesh. Sheesh. I mean, good googly moogly, bro. That's one of your flagships. And I don't want to hear, oh, it just came out. Most of these games make the majority of their sales at launch. Jeepers, crow. Hey, when they add VR, I'll be there. Age of Empires is what it is. Age of Empires 2 actually outselling Outer Worlds 2 is nuts. That's nuts. That's not good. That's not good. That was their big game for like the summer showcase. You know, they showed it a bunch at IGN. Like they put more into marketing of this game in just those two events for sure than it seems like they made on PlayStation at all. Shit, you should have kept it exclusive at this point. And that goes on to the Age of Empires. You know, I'm not going to dog on them. It's a RTS, so whatever. The next topic in this tapestry was the big one, Xbox's financial report. Q2 was very hard on Xbox. Overall gaming revenue down 9%. Xbox content and services, which is Game Pass, down 5%. Mind you, that's on the back of a 50% price hike. So they hiked the price up on everybody on, and enough people got off that it still dropped 5%. That's a lot of people. You know what I mean? And Xbox hardware revenue down 32%. You know, we're gonna kind of talk about all of this. The lowest man on the totem pole in importance here is Xbox hardware down 32%. You know what I mean? That's certainly not a surprise anymore. But what is actually always significant about it being there, you know what I mean? You'll have Xbox guys kind of play it off as, oh, well, that's not a surprise, as if, you know, you're turning over a new leaf every time. But as this will show you, no, it's a compounding effect. These guys are down on being down on being down on being down. Like, and they are expected to be down again. Like, it's a death spiral. You know what I mean? It's not one L after another. No, it's a continuous death spiral going on here. And while pundits and podcasters will tell you that it's everything except the actual problem, Chief Financial Officer Amy Hood, Chief Financial Officer of Microsoft, Amy Hood, has no issues putting the blame squarely on underperforming first-party games, as reported by Windows Central. So it's not just me saying it. It's not just anybody online saying it. This is the Chief Financial Officer of Microsoft's, whose job it is to look at the books, saying you took these games off of the platform and they still underperformed. And you did not make enough money, and that is the reason that we are down right now. Like, that's you know, Call of Duty is going to play a big role in that, of course, but it's the whole slate. The whole slate is the problem. You know what I mean? And at some point, you just have to admit that it's the quality of the games that is not sparking the interest needed to buy them, even though they're everywhere. And that's, you know, what's always bothered me about when people say, oh, this game, like Final Fantasy, just needs to go multi-plat, and that will solve the issue of Square Enix not meeting their expectations. No, it really won't. It really will not. One, because Square Enix has ridiculous expectations and always has. This tracks back years and decades and generations. People don't know this because they don't actually know about video games. And taking that and making it a multi-platform release, when the last multi-platform Final Fantasy only sold 1 million, under a million at launch, and that's the highest selling Final Fantasy in Final Fantasy 15. It took years for that game to hit 1 million on Xbox. It's because it's this refusal to understand that people have different tastes. Not every game is for everybody. You know what I mean? And there are a limited number of people into a genre, and or that also cross off with the people who are going to buy a game day one. Like, there's a limited amount of those people. You know what I mean? So just taking that game and putting it everywhere is not the magic bullet, as shown here. You took these games and put them all everywhere. Even with the novelty of a lot of these being Xbox games on like PlayStation and stuff, that they're not selling. You know what I mean? You have to have the quality to sell nowadays because there are so many options. And time again, we see that if you have the quality, you will sell no matter where you are. As shown by Yotai beating Call of Duty on PlayStation in the US. Like, that's insane. You know what I mean? We talked about this, but that's still insane. And it goes to show the power of Pokemon selling like 5 million first week. They will come. If the quality is, well, quality is questionable. But if you have the enticing IP, people will come to you no matter where you are. You don't have to go to them, and going to them isn't the magic bullet. It really is not. And a common defense of this I hear online is, oh, but, you know, I say this and I show the chart and I show what Amy Hood has said, you know, but Xbox dominated the charts in 2025. So how can that be so? Well, let's look at the charts. All right, and this graph is courtesy, the listing itself is courtesy of Circana. The color coding is courtesy of Derek Strickland at, I believe, WCCF Tech, I believe. And it shows the breakdown of the top 20 of 2025 in the US, right? Top 20 games. And Xbox dominated the charts. There's a lot of green on here, right? Well, if we look a little closer, we'll see Xbox has 5 entries on this chart, right? Nice, strong, solid listing. EA has 5 listings on the chart. Hard to say you're dominating it when you're right in league with EA. Take-Two has 4 entries on the chart. So, in my mind, this is not Xbox dominating the chart. This is them falling into their paid-for place as a major third-party publisher, right? Let's look a little deeper. What are the 5 games? Well, we have Black Ops 7, that is an admitted failure, way lower on the chart than it usually is. Usually this is number 1, it's number 5. We have Elder Scrolls Oblivion, a broken remaster of a 20-year-old game, but hey, it's up there. We have Black Ops 6, we have Minecraft, and we have Forza Horizon 5, right? So now if you look at those titles, only 2 of them came out this year. Out of the 15 games Microsoft published, and you listen to any of these pundits and podcasters, they'll tell you Microsoft published so much this year, they're killing it, and you would think that any of those games charted. So that's 2 games that charted out of 15 that you put out. 13 games couldn't make it out there. 13, right? And one of them is a remaster of an old game that's fucking broken, may I reiterate, because I spent my $50 on it and can't get it back. So let me say it again. We got to get some use out of it somewhere. And Call of Duty Black Ops 7, which is a failure. So those are your 2 entries out of 15 games onto this chart that you're dominating. And when you look at them, it's really not that great. You know what I mean? Forza Horizon 5 was carried there completely on the back of PS5 sales, which only ensures Xbox's third-party publishing future. Like, this really is not the piece of evidence you want to bring up to kind of puff up Xbox. It's pretty unflattering, actually. And I just find it hilarious. I just find all of this hilarious because, you know, it's like if you ever put something up to a dog's face that it doesn't want to see, and it like turns its face like it's not looking at you, know what I mean? Like, everything is telling you that, yo, what is the problem here? And this is what Xbox dudes have spent the better part of a decade trying to spin. Like, it is. The problem is and has always been the quality of the first party games. I'm not saying they're all ass. I'm not saying they're all terrible. But they weren't good enough to sell the console, clearly. And they're not good enough to sell when you put them other places, clearly. The issue is the quality. You need to lock the fuck in, Xbox. You need to lock in and put out some fucking bangers, bro. And motherfuckers ain't gonna want to hear it from me, but I do not think 2026 is the year for it. I don't think they got the juice. I mean, you in a big league 2026, bro. Like, some people are excited for Fable, right? But some people were excited for Outer Worlds too. Like, and there's no way something like Fable competes with something like Crimson Desert, like Wolverine, like GTA 6. Like, I'm sorry, guys. It's just not happening. It's just not happening. Niggas want The Witcher 3 from the dudes who... The Witcher 3 guys didn't make The Witcher 3 the first time. It took them 3 times. The first 2 were pretty rough, as I remember. Like, you know what I mean? It's there's a lot of eggs in that basket. Gears of War isn't coming this year. Halo Remake isn't gonna do it. You know what I mean? Forza is Forza. You know, there's gonna be a lot of gravitas around Forza. I feel like people feel bad because they feel like Forza I feel like they feel Forza 5 was kind of undershot. You know what I mean? It didn't get its just desserts. So I feel like people are going to be really nice to Forza 6. And hey, I hope it's a good game. I hope people enjoy it. Forza's not for me. And I feel like we all used to be able to freely admit that, yeah, but that's not really for like the hardcore gamer. Most hardcore gamers aren't playing a bunch of racing games. And now it's like, oh, Forza. Like, all right, bro. But it is what it is. It's going to come out and it's going to do its thing. But I don't see Fable hitting that. And I think that's the only other big kiln, you know what I mean? So we're gonna see when GTA drops, right? When GTA drops, that's gonna show you what's going on with Xbox. Like, that's a make or break moment for Xbox, because I don't think they're going to sell anything. I don't think anybody's going to want to buy an Xbox. These motherfuckers have had nothing but bad PR for the better part of a decade. I don't think anybody's going out to buy an Xbox for GTA 6. But I could be wrong. And we'll certainly see. And how that goes, I think it's going to play a lot into what happens with Xbox's next generation, if there is to be one. But that's going to do it for me. It's cold as shit in this car. Cold as shit everywhere. I'm going the fuck upstairs. But I appreciate you all showing up once again. My name is Preacher, and I do so hope to see you right back here on the pews.